Showcase. Number 23. December 1959. Green Lantern is responding to a distress signal from another world, where primitive humans are under attack by gigantic flying reptiles. Confident in his ring's power, he had expected to defeat the creatures easily, but now finds himself targeted instead. Green Lantern's rising fame in Coast City draws attention from the press and the public. He attends high society events but avoids sharing details about his ring or identity. Admirers question him about his powers, but he remains vague. He uses his ring to lift a companion above city traffic, impressing bystanders. Newspapers highlight his appearances with debutantes and actresses, while a series of portraits ties him to several prominent women. His growing popularity turns him into a subject of fascination beyond his heroic deeds. At Ferris Aircraft, Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris share a coffee break as she questions him about tabloid rumors involving Green Lantern and multiple women. Hal feigns surprise while internally amused she doesn't suspect his secret identity. Carol rattles off 7 sightings in 7 days, prompting Hal to tease her jealousy. When he mentions Green Lantern being snubbed by her, she's startled he knows. Hal recovers smoothly, claiming the two are friends. Curious, Carol wonders how the 2 men she finds most attractive could know each other, then reconsiders whether she judged Green Lantern too harshly. Carol asks Hal if he still wants to take her to dinner, and he eagerly suggests they go that evening. As Hal prepares for his typical unabated groping, Carol reminds him of her promise to her father to keep things professional, explaining that neither their feelings nor anything else is going deep tonight. She proposes a dinner with Hal and Green Lantern together. Hal is caught off guard. While Carol assumes he can invite Green Lantern, Hal reflects on the awkward position she's put him in. Realizing she may be using him to get closer to his other identity, Hal is conflicted by the idea that he's competing with himself for her attention. After leaving work, Hal reflects on his promise to Carol to bring Green Lantern to dinner. Frustrated by the impossible demand, he returns to his dressing room at the hangar to think. While sitting alone, his green power lamp begins to signal him telepathically. It informs him of an emergency on Venus and urges him to act quickly, as he's the only available Green Lantern who can respond in time. Hal immediately prepares for duty, changing into his uniform. As he readies himself, he recites the Green Lantern oath to recharge his ring. As Green Lantern launches into space, powered by his ring, he reflects on the mysterious origin of the thoughts he receives and the promise he made to obey them. To survive the journey, he uses the ring to form a 24-hour air pocket. As he approaches Venus, he learns that a race of human-like beings is in danger and needs his help. He descends through a thick atmosphere and lands on the surface, unsure of the threat. As he steps onto the alien terrain, he's suddenly attacked by a large flying creature. As Green Lantern surveys the alien landscape, a massive winged creature resembling a prehistoric pterodactyl attacks. He tries to defend himself with his ring, but it fails against the creature's yellow hide. This also fulfills this issue's required quota of having Green Lantern's ring be powerless against someone or something yellow. Caught in the creature's claw and carried into the air, he struggles to break free. With the ring useless, he relies on physical strength, striking the beast directly. The blow causes it to release him, but the effort drains his energy and weakens his will. As he plummets toward the ground, he's unable to summon the power needed to reactivate the ring, leaving him vulnerable mid-fall. Green Lantern tumbles into a crevice during his fall, escaping the creature's grasp when it can't follow him into the narrow space. After resting and regaining strength, he resumes his mission and begins scanning for signs of human life. He recalls the telepathic message that brought him to Venus and soon spots what appears to be habitation. He discovers a tribe of primitive blue-skinned humans living in caves, reminiscent of early humans on Earth. As he lands nearby, the group rushes toward him, speaking in an unfamiliar language but showing enthusiasm. He realizes they are trying to communicate and appear glad to see him. Green Lantern struggles to understand the language of the blue-skinned tribe but quickly devises a solution. He focuses his ring's power on one of the Venusians, using his will to bridge the communication gap. The ring translates the natives' thoughts, revealing that the tribe sees him as a fellow human and begs for help. They explain their people are under constant attack by giant winged creatures that never stop hunting them. The creatures aim to wipe them out and dominate the planet. As the explanation ends, a swarm of the flying beasts approaches from the sky, confirming the tribe's warning. As the flying creatures attack, Green Lantern focuses on protecting the Venusian tribe. You may not know this already, but his ring is powerless against yellow, making direct attacks useless. Thinking quickly, he creates a massive green hawk, knowing that birds often fear their fiercest predators. and it's completely logical to extrapolate that the giant reptilian pterodactyl creatures from the planet Venus would be terrified of a bird who is native to Earth. Though the hawk can't harm the creatures, its appearance is enough to startle them. The attackers retreat in fear, unaware that the construct poses no real threat. Green Lantern watches as the bluff succeeds, buying time for the humans and turning the tide of the confrontation without breaking the ring's limitations. Green Lantern's giant hawk construct drives the flying creatures toward a cave entrance, nearly trapping them inside. As he prepares to complete the maneuver, one of the creatures attacks the hawk, tearing through it and exposing the bluff. Realizing it poses no threat, more of the attackers turn on the illusion. Green Lantern quickly shifts tactics, racing ahead to lure the creatures deeper into the cave. As they follow, he flies back to the surface. With only a brief moment left, he uses his ring to act before they can escape. Green Lantern seals the cave entrance with a rock slide, trapping the winged attackers inside. The Venusian humans celebrate their survival and invite him to a feast. Observing their customs, he notes that they're primitive but have the potential for future growth. Speaking of future growth, he further observes there are no women in the tribe he can molest, or get acquainted with, so he declines the dinner invite. As he prepares to return to Earth, he reflects on his mission's deeper meaning, protecting a fledgling society vital to humanity's broader future. His focus then shifts to a more personal concern, realizing he must rush back to keep the dinner date he promised Carol before a part of him turns blue as well. That evening, Carol enjoys a date with Green Lantern, expressing relief that Hal Jordan couldn't make it. Both appear to grow closer, with Carol feeling more drawn to the hero's exciting persona. Afterward, she reflects on her feelings, realizing she'll eventually have to choose between Hal and Green Lantern, unaware they are the same man. At the same time, Hal worries that Carol is falling for the heroic image rather than his true self. In our second story, Green Lantern races to prevent a nuclear explosion near Coast City. How can the villain rob without leaving evidence, move through buildings without damage, and appear without being seen? Hal Jordan arrives at Carol Ferris's office, surprised she called for him since she's shown little interest lately. He notes her growing fascination with Green Lantern, unaware that Hal and Giella are one and the same person. Thankfully, this dual identity was divulged in the editor's note for those readers who still had no clue of that fact after reading the first story, or who decided to only read the second story in the comic. Carol asks if he's seen a strange message in the newspaper addressed to Green Lantern, directing him to a specific location. Hal becomes intrigued. Carol presses him for his opinion, and Hal decides to investigate in his superhero identity. As he leaves, she's puzzled by his sudden indifference, noting it's unusual for him not to linger and attempt to seduce her. Hal transforms into Green Lantern and recites his way too long oath. He practices doing it quicker so as not to bore the reader.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
He launches into the skies above Coast City and heads toward the location mentioned in the newspaper notice, suspecting someone in trouble. While flying over rooftops, he spots a mysterious figure in purple and orange, identified by the media as the Invisible Destroyer. Eager to confront him, Green Lantern dives toward the rooftop. The villain reveals he's been waiting for this encounter, wanting to test his power against Green Lantern. As the two face off, the Emerald Warrior attempts to stop him with a beam from his ring, but the villain remains unaffected. Green Lantern's power ring fails to stop the Invisible Destroyer, who walks straight through the beam. The villain grabs him with overwhelming force, leaving him gasping for air. Just as Green Lantern nears collapse, the enemy vanishes without warning. Later, a search of the building reveals no clues, nothing was stolen, and no visible damage was done. Witnesses explain that the intruder passed through a wall and vanished. Green Lantern leaves, frustrated by the mystery. He reflects on how the villain always disappears the same way, and wonders who this powerful, elusive opponent truly is. Green Lantern visits the home of Dr. Phillips, a scientist Hal Jordan already knows. Disguised in costume, he assumes the doctor won't recognize him. Phillips welcomes him in and immediately begins explaining his connection to the Invisible Destroyer. He reveals that he unknowingly drew images of the villain over several days, before seeing the character appear in the news. Shocked by the coincidence, he shows Green Lantern the sketches, which closely match the published photos. Phillips hints that there's a deeper mystery behind the drawings and prepares to reveal a startling truth. Dr. Phillips tells Green Lantern he believes he's somehow responsible for the Invisible Destroyer. He theorizes that a part of his subconscious, operating without his awareness, brought the creature to life through imagination or mind over matter. Comparing it to the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, he suggests dark thoughts may have manifested physically, Green Lantern proposes testing the theory by using his ring to induce deep concentration. Phillips agrees, wanting to confront his potential role. The ring's energy focuses the Doctor's mind, as both await what might come next. The invisible destroyer suddenly materializes in front of Green Lantern, emerging directly from Dr. Phillips' unconscious mind. The scientist remains unaware as the villain takes shape. Green Lantern prepares to stop the threat by boosting his ring's power to maximum. As he charges forward, he accidentally knocks over a wastebasket that he somehow didn't see sitting in the middle of the floor, which creates a loud noise. The sound snaps Phillips out of his focused state, breaking his concentration. At that moment, the destroyer vanishes, confirming the theory that the creature was a mental projection brought to life through subconscious thought. Green Lantern and Dr. Phillips discuss the reality that the destroyer is a manifestation of the Doctor's mind. Green Lantern explains that Phillips's conscious mind refuses to acknowledge the creature, which makes it appear invisible. He proposes using the ring to probe Phillips's thoughts and force the destroyer to reveal its plans. After several failed attempts, the ring triggers the right neural response and the villain reappears. Now visible, the destroyer taunts Green Lantern, claiming he's willing to share his intentions because the hero won't be able to stop them. The invisible destroyer reveals he's been targeting locations with atomic radiation to increase his power. He explains that each dose strengthens him, and his goal is to become the most powerful being on Earth. He breaks free from Dr. Phillips and declares that he'll no longer settle for small amounts of radiation. Instead, he plans to trigger a massive atomic explosion to absorb energy in one strike. As Green Lantern moves to stop him, the villain escapes. Dr. Phillips collapses, leaving Green Lantern caught between aiding his ally and chasing the increasingly dangerous enemy. Green Lantern checks on Dr. Phillips, who has fainted from the strain, but confirms he's recovering. Meanwhile, the invisible destroyer escapes. After a search, Green Lantern learns that a large quantity of nuclear material was stolen from a base near Coast City. He heads to the Los Venemos proving grounds and spots signs of activity at a remote shack. Inside, the villain gloats that it's too late. He's already triggered an atomic blast visible on a nearby screen. Refusing to give up, Green Lantern races toward the explosion, determined that his power ring must act faster than the spreading blast. Green Lantern reaches the blast site and uses his power ring to contain the explosion, shrinking it to the size of a firecracker. Returning to the shack, he's confronted by the invisible destroyer, who vows revenge. Realizing that his green beam has no effect, Green Lantern deduces that the creature is composed of pure energy. As the villain launches another attack, Green Lantern quickly prepares a countermeasure, channeling a powerful bolt of anti-energy with his ring and hoping the opposing forces will neutralize each other. Later in the lab, Dr. Phillips expresses gratitude, but Green Lantern assures him the crisis is resolved. With the destroyer gone, the mental fragment that created it is also erased, freeing Phillips from further danger. As Hal Jordan changes out of uniform, he reflects on his ongoing personal challenge, trying to pervertedly manipulate his boss, Carol Ferris, as easily as he solves the world's problems.